era. We have about 15 more minutes. We're going to do one last era. If we have time, maybe we'll jump to another one. But this is era 9. We didn't really cover way too much on this in class. This was chapter 30 and 31. But let's look at some things right here. So for national identity, we have a period of increasing conservatism in government with movements to reduce the size of the federal government. So we have the conservative movement to reduce size of government. Okay, that was kind of new, right? Because this kind of goes back to the anti-federalists. This kind of goes back to the states' rights. And I think that with COVID, we even see this, that we generally would like for states to be responsible for states, to know how states should act. But to what degree should the federal government get involved?
South Dakota that stayed open over the entirety of COVID?
That's because South Dakota, nobody lives there. Okay? Yeah. But that's a great example of federalism. Ladies and gentlemen, when we use the term federalism means a balance between federal government and state government. Federalism does not mean federalist. Federalism is the balance between federal government and state governments. Okay, I know that's really confusing, but that's what federalism is. And you don't understand that until you take government class. And then you still probably don't understand it. So this is a continuation of U.S. as world's leading superpower. So I'd say USA superpower. Okay? Team America. All right, when it comes to politics, there's a period of return to prominence of the Republican Party and conservatism. So again, we talked about Republican Party. So the 1960s was a lot of the Democratic Party. The 1980s and 90s is a lot of Republican power. There's also a shift in political power to the South and West following population shifts. Okay? So what state out west becomes important? Population shift to CA makes political impact. Okay? When it comes to work exchange technology, we have this globalism connecting us to the rest of the world, right? We have less small subsistence farming, and we have more of these corporations, more of this globalism. As much as I like to get products that are cheap, deep down I hate globalism. Why? Because it turns people into the machine, okay? And so that's my personal belief. That's why I generally hate Wall Street. As much as I like Wall Street, that we can, basically a poor person can invest in Wall Street and then make money or be an entrepreneur. Or if you want to go on Shark Tank and get investors, that's great. Okay, that's a great idea. But at the same time, it's the unintended consequence, right? So we have that globalism and we have that shift of power. We have the prominence of the internet, mobile phones, right? Internet, mobile phones. We also have consumption and distribution. Information is big. When it comes to unions, we have a decline in unions that starts to develop. We also have a stagnation of wages. Culturally, the Vietnam syndrome, I would say, has ended. So, does anybody remember what the Vietnam Syndrome means? Vietnam Syndrome. What did the Vietnam War do to America, to Americans?
Made them really anti-government.
Okay, very good. It made us distrust the government. It made us anti-government. So the Vietnam War, so we have an end to Vietnam Syndrome to, during the 1980s, are we patriotic?
No.
Definitely, okay? We're definitely to, patriotism. Okay, especially with the Persian Gulf War, we become super patriotic. We also start having these culture wars, though. Culture wars. These culture wars between race, gender, family structure, right? And we also have this increased diversity in America. Let's go ahead and put this down here. When it comes to migration, where are most immigrants coming from? Is it going to be from Europe? No, immigrants are usually not coming from Europe. Immigrants from, yes, very good, from Latin America. Very good. And also we'll have Asian immigrants, okay? There's also this movement to the south and west for jobs. To south and west for jobs. When it comes to geography, wars in the Middle East lead to an effort to reduce dependence on oil. So when it comes to the geography, when it comes to the environment, geography and the environment, wars in Middle East cause, search for other forms of energy.
For some odd reason, people don't do nuclear process.
Right?
It's the phobia.
It's a great.
Mouth treatment.
How many nuclear reactors have actually broken down?
One was
3 Mile Island.
Island, Chernobyl. What else?
one Fukushima. Just three.
Three. Out of how many nuclear plants were there?
I don't know, but it's like a sort of fear. One nuclear plant.
But what happens to the water that cools the reactor down? What do we do with it? We turn it into a solid, and then we bury it, but where do we bury it?
In the earth. Well, with Elon Musk's new spacing, we could just inject it into space.
Just launch all of our nuclear waste into the sun or something.
America and the world. What happens to the USSR?
It disappears.
Okay. Collapse and reemerges in 2022. Just kidding. Hopefully not, right? Hopefully not. USSR collapses, ending Cold War. Okay. U.S. involved in conflict. USA conflict with Middle East. There's the Gulf War, September 11th, the War on Terror. We also have this era of globalization. Okay? Mainly because of the internet and other things. Isn't that amazing? We are done.
I think before you ask the question,
Yeah.